Can you tell where I've been? I'll show you that in a second. Yes, I did buy myself a souvenir. Like the absolute tourist slash imposter slash felt like a competition winner the whole time I was there. But I was like, I need to buy myself a souvenir. My friend talked me into it, so I was like, okay, I'll do it. But anyway, I'm back from London, and the reason why I'm starting this video here, like in my office at home, rather than over there is because, so let me set the scene. So I didn't think I was going to get accepted to go to the RHS Chelsea Flower Show. That's the official name. Like I applied to previous years, never got it. And then when I got it this year, I was like, oh, and I was so excited. Like I know I spoke about it in a video before, but when I read the email, I actually squeaked. I don't squeak, but there was squeakage because I was like, oh my God, it's actually happening. And of all the years to be able to go, this year is brilliant because I wanted to go and just get inspiration for the garden, which is almost done. The landscapers are here today. I don't know why I'm talking low, they can't hear me, but they're at the back and the road grass is supposed to come today, hopefully. Anyway, that's another thing. This is now I'm trying not to go off into different tangents today. When I got the email, I was like, okay, this is fantastic. And I was happy to go on my own, have a wander, embrace it. Like I didn't want to be tormenting anybody or like dragging anybody back if I was going with them. So I was like, no, I'm happy to go on my own. And then I remembered that a few years ago, Joanne and I, my sister and I, went to London the week after Chelsea, or the week of the Chelsea Flower Show. I think we went on like the Sunday maybe. And because we'd heard about Chelsea in bloom and the whole area around kind of Chelsea and Sloane Square and the King's Road having all the different floral displays. And I was like, this year, I was like, I bet you my mum and her pal would love this. So I was like, I'll ask them, see if they want to go. If they don't, grand. If they do, grand. So they said absolutely. And so then I had to set about trying to find an Airbnb for the three of us because I just wanted to give us all our own space. Found a 2-bed apartment in oh my God, what's called Battersea. So we were right beside the Battersea power station. And the reason why I picked that is because it was a 15-minute walk across the bridge. There's Chelsea, happy days. So, and I realised, and I figured as well, it's not going to be as busy as like the actual Chelsea area. And like it was reasonable price as well for the three of us. So I gave the ladies their own bedroom each. And then I was like, I'll take the couch. So I didn't have a huge amount of time on my own because my bedroom was like in the what's the word? Like the communal area. So I was like, right, listen, I'll just film at Chelsea and then I can do the chats when I get home. So that's where we're at now. So the plan was I was going to get there early. And in the previous week, my friend Nadine had messaged me saying, are you going solo? She goes, I'm going solo. Do you want to have a little wander around together? And I was like, perfect. Because as I said, you know, when people are going, they have like their own routines of what they like to do in Chelsea. And I just didn't want to like be dragging anyone back and be able to like take things at my own pace. And like even when you walked up like the First Avenue, it took me like an hour to get up and it's not that far because I was just like standing looking at everything. God, oh my God, how is this real life? So I'm going to insert a little bit of footage of me heading up there now to see, and I'll show you what I saw. When I was packing for Chelsea, I said, will I buy a new dress for it or not? And then I said, no, I have this blue dress that I love. I've had it for a few years now, bought it in Spain. It goes perfectly with trainers, which I knew I was going to have to wear going there anyway. Because I said, I can either buy a new dress or buy plants. And we're always going to go for plants. But lads, this is Chelsea and it's in all its glory. And I was trying to take in all of the planting schemes, the themes that I saw, like those sculptures. Like I'm not a big sculpture person, but I think there are ways of incorporating them that's really classic and not too kind of scary looking, you know. But I loved the fact that they had a lot of cottage garden, a lot of informal gardening. It was like whimsical. This is Monty's garden. Like, oh, like look at those lupins, the colour and the colour of the poppies and the honesty there. And then it had like orange and purple. Oh, this aspect I loved so much, and it's something that I definitely want to incorporate in my garden, like that fullness. You know, there was a lot of like looseness and movement to it, and those little paths that the dogs could go through. I just loved it. Now I took this footage because my sister, as you know, or as you might know, is mad into succulents, and succulents are great at the moment. Like I suppose they're great all the time, but they work perfectly in dry, arid conditions. Now, you know, I had to go and visit the greenhouses and just have a little look, like just tiny look, and look at the planting outside this one. It just thought it was gorgeous and a mix of colours and everything. And That's proper shading, lads. That's beyond my budget. That's proper shading. But I just took my time going around to get the different inspiration, and I loved that they had gravel under the shelves in the greenhouses. Now back to sculptures. These are not very me, but I just wanted to show you. You never know, you might need a bison in your garden. This Japanese tea garden was unreal. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's going to 100% win gold. And the designer, I can't remember his name, I think it's Ishiara, I think. Like, I guarantee he has put those little balls of moss down separately, one by one. Just so gorgeous, absolutely fabulous. And I feel like there was a nice mix of garden content or garden design for everybody, no matter what kind of style garden you had. But don't you just love the colour? I love the colour, that made me so happy. I can't look at that now. I'm loving the shelving in there as well. And look at the planting outside. So I'll take glass houses. Now this, what is this? Because that is stunning. I love that everything seems to have a theme at the moment, like purples and like jewel tones and whites and orange. Oh my god, look at the little oh my god, I have to go in. Look at the lights. It's basically the same as my shelving. I loved that there was a lot of consistency when it came to the different gardens. I thought that they'd all be quite separate, but there was a lot of consistency, a lot of similarities, and they were mad into their paving. And I loved that. I was paying particular attention to the climbers in all the different gardens, because that's something that I do need to factor in the garden now that it's almost done. And I definitely want to have lots of roses, and I'd love a multi-stem tree. I'm researching that at the moment. But like, look how vibrant the roses are. Like, doesn't that just do you good? It does me good anyway. I was just happy, in my absolute element. Okay, so I feel like everybody had the same idea in coming early, because it's quite busy. So I'm just on the main avenue, and it's actually taken me ages, like about an hour to get up here, because there's just so much to like look at. I've been filming kind of like B-roll, so it's probably me maybe when I get home that I'll have like a proper go through all the footage and put my thoughts together. But already I can see trends in like there's loads of like cottagey, gardeny, whimsical, burgundy, jewel toned flowers. I'm in my element. The BBC are filming. They have like this big rig that I feel like I need. Look at this. Oh yeah, see that? Imagine I had one of them for my garden. So I think Nadine is here. I'm going to go meet her. I said this on my Instagram stories, but I feel like I am a competition winner. But actually, you know what? I'm kind of glad that it's overcast, just so I can kind of see what's happening. I think later on, it's supposed to get sunny. So I just think this is mad, that this is my life of Monday, going to the Chelsea Flower Show. And that's the Grand Pavilion in there. I see Josie London here. Monty Don was here because he has a gorgeous garden. I spent ages kind of looking at that, and I couldn't film too much because they were filming 25 minutes for Gardeners World and stuff. So oh, look at this. Yeah, look at this for flooring in the greenhouse. Isn't that fabulous? Look at this. Like, if you could have seen me at Chelsea that day, I was just like a child, walking around in awe and with so much inspiration with every single garden that I looked at. I was like, I want that in my garden. I want that in my garden. I was looking at all the climbing roses and just the different types of roses that they had, and I particularly loved these white plants. Now, you know, I love like a little bit of colour, but I feel like there's room for serenity in my garden. We have Catherine's rose, named after the Royal Princess of Wales. That was actually more coral in person. I loved it. And we saw the King's rose as well, which was like very multicoloured. I wasn't expecting that. Like, it looked like a raspberry ripple rose. Again, I loved the fluffiness and the movement in this garden, and this is one of my favourite things that I shot, because I don't know what that is, if it's like cow parsley, but there was, again, lots of the wind, and that's what I kind of want to incorporate into my garden this year, is, you know, those taller plants that when you're sitting in the garden and they're moving around you, you're not really looking at them, but you're aware that they're there. It's not like a really obvious planting. But lads, if I can recommend Chelsea, please go to Chelsea if you can, if you're able. I just think you'd love it. I am so going back next year, whether they have me or not. Now, because this was my first time at the Chelsea Flower Show, I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, I've seen other videos, I've seen it on the BBC. Actually, I need to catch up. I've missed all the week's worth of videos on the BBC, so I need to try and find that online, or see if I can find it on my Skybox, because it's very different watching it on TV compared to being there. So the RHS give you a certain amount of time that you can film footage of, and I don't want to break the rules, not on my first time, because I want to go back next year. So I was trying to film on this camera, I was trying to film on my phone for Instagram, and then I was trying to experience it as well and to take it all in, and like, it was a lot. And I was there for the guts of like 6 hours or so, and I still didn't see everything. I was saying to my sister and my brother-in-law the other day that I would happily go next year, go to press day and then pay and go again, because it was just so overwhelming, and like the biggest pinch me moment ever, like walking around. And at one point then, so I met up with Nadine and we were having a wander around, and she and I are very similar in the fact that like we loved seeing the celebs as well. And we saw Mary Berry, we saw Prue Leith, Fred Sirius, Monty Don, obviously, like all the BBC presenters. I couldn't film them. Like Nigel Havers, Dr. Philippa from This Morning. I'm trying to remember who else. Like David Suchet. And we were, Larry Lamb, we saw Larry Lamb. And we were just walking around having the best time. What I loved is that everything that was there was kind of like garden related. Sculptures, homeware, but like garden related homeware. And so I was just in my element. And like, we only went past all the container gardens once. Like, I could have gone past that like a few times, because like walking around and chatting and looking, and it was just fab. I feel like I got so much inspiration there, you know, from different setups in the greenhouse, how I want to lay things out. I was trying to pay particular attention to the climbers that they had there, because as you'll see out in the back when I do the reveal very soon, I'm going to need climbers. So I noticed that there were some themes when it came to all the different gardens, and I wasn't expecting that. Now obviously there were a few that were like standout, like the Japanese tea room, which was just perfection. Like, I feel like between that and Monty Don's garden, those were the ones that I was looking at the most, because there was so much to see and like to take in. And I definitely want either like an Acer or a Japanese maple in my garden. I have an idea of where I want to put it. I have an idea of which one I want, and I'll explain that when I do the garden reveal and like the plans for the garden. But with Monty's garden, everything was real full. It was like really loosely planted. There was like lots of movement, and they had like little pathways for the dogs to go through, and like for different aspects when you would look at it, it was just so full. Like everything was like a picture, if that makes sense, do you know? And I loved that. I loved that no matter where you were in the garden, there was something different to look at. And that's something that I wanted to take on for our garden, is to have, I don't want to be able to sit and like see it all at once. I want there to be like little nooks and crannies, but that's going to take a few years for sure. Like, I'm not going to get everything done kind of this year. And then what I noticed as well is that a good few of the gardens had these really strong jewel toned poppies. They were like burgundy almost, and they were just so striking. And some of them had like peachy kind of foxgloves, which I loved the look of. I think I need them. Lupins as well. Lupins were definitely having a moment. And I had noticed that myself on the walk up. And then when I met Nadine, she was like, lupins are having, and I was like, that's what I said too. And I had made, when I got to the top, I can't remember which, I was at the glass house garden, and I was like doing a voice, excuse me, and I was doing a voice note to myself for just so that I would remember things. And I made a point to myself that there were lots of multi-stem trees, which I loved, because they were just, I don't know, they take up space like width-wise, but they're like lower as well, so you're not kind of like looking up at them. And I feel like I want one of them as well. But there was definite consistency with the planting as well when you went from garden to garden, and I loved that. And like even the planting outside of the different greenhouses was just beautiful. That just gets me so excited. I'm just itching for our garden to be done so I can just go. And I was looking in garden centre over the weekend and I was like, I don't need anything yet. Not yet. But now that I see the I suppose the bare bones of the garden, I'm just like, oh, it's happening. I keep going back and looking at the footage going, how mad is that? Like 5 years ago I was just getting into gardening, and then getting to go to that just blew my mind. And so we met Catherine and Ewan for coffee, and we were in like this big dark tent and it was chilly, but then it started getting sunny and warmer, so we sat outside, we did a bit of people watching, and then we continued on our little wandering. Like genuinely it was one of the best things ever. And then I went to meet my mum, so I left there about like 1:15 or so. As I said, I could stay longer, and I think on press day they kick you out at 3 o'clock because that's when the king comes. So after that I went to meet my mum and her best pal, and I had taught Mum beforehand how to do live location on WhatsApp, so did that and we were able to meet. And where we met is where actually Joanna and I we kind of found ourselves a few years ago, where we'd gone for like a little cheeky pims, and then we were going to walk back to our hotel. Then we needed to go to the bathroom, so we ended up having to like walk back up to the main road, and we passed by this little pub. It's just like in a residential area called Cooper's Arms. And so when I realised where we were when I met the ladies, I was like, right, let's go there. We had a little drink, had a sandwich, and then that was really close to the King's Road, just like up the road, where the Chelsea at Bloom was. Now, oh my god, Chelsea at Bloom was something else this year. Oh my god, in terms of the crowds, it was crazy. And I found it hard to film stuff like with people walking by and stuff, but I did film a few clips to show you, so that if you were thinking about coming, that's what to expect. So maybe go and have a look at the flowers in the morning before everybody's out, because this was at like lunchtime. I get real overwhelmed in crowds. I feel it's like overstimulation, where there's people and noises, and it was a lot. And I wanted to bring them to this particular road, and do you think I could remember the name of the road? And so trying to Google it when you don't know the name of the road that you're looking for, and like my mum was like, did you find it yet? Did you find it? And I was like, "Ma, stop, please stop." Because like with the noise, with the crowds, with the walking trying to film, but I ended up finding it, and it was called, what's it called now? Pavilion Road. And it's this red bricked road, like all the buildings are red bricked. And I remember being there with Joanne, and I think there's like mostly restaurants and little shops there, but they had like a few different displays. So we went in there, and then we had to sit down because it was a lot to take in. And then we said we walked back to kind of the Sloane Square area, and saw that there was a little bar. And actually on the way back there, I was walking along filming like different clips of like the displays, and then who did I see at the corner of my little eye was Stephanie and Philip from the Chateau Diaries, and they had kind of like just slightly pulled in, and I was just like, oh my god. Now I watch them every day, well, whenever they upload a video. It's usually like 4 times a week, and I don't think I've missed an episode like since the start of lockdown. I just watching their channel just makes me so happy, and like seeing the progress that they've done over the years. And so I just had to go up and I was like, lads, I love your channel. Okay, bye. And they were like, thanks. So I was like, oh, day made. So then we got to Sloane Square, and there was somewhere to kind of sit down and have a drink. Like we were like, yeah, let's sit down, let's have a little beverage. We did that, but it was just a lot, because Sloane Square is busy anyway. And then there were roadworks going on, like there and kind of down that way. And then there were like lots of ambulances going by and lots of police cars going by. And yeah, it was just a lot. But it made me appreciate where we were staying. So we ended up walking home then. It was about like 25 minutes maybe. And yeah, just like a nice walk. But I feel like where we stayed was the perfect location for Chelsea. I would definitely stay there again, like location wise. Like it was a really simple place. A simple apartment. It was clean, it did the job, and it was within budget, so that was it. So now my mission is to channel everything that I've learned from Chelsea, and as I said, I was only able to insert a certain amount of footage here. If you have the chance to go to the Chelsea Flower Show, I would 100% recommend it. I think I'd even pack a suit. Oh yeah, let me show you my little souvenirs. Hold on. So I was walking around and I said to Nadine, like, do you think I need a souvenir? She was like, yeah. So we went into this little stall and they had this cute little tote bag, because I had followed or had seen the RHS had on their Instagram had reposted the illustrator of their merchandise this year, and in my head I was like, whenever I see her thing, I'm going to buy something. So like, how adorable is this? Like, that's for good use. Like, this isn't going to be used. And then I saw this, I was like, I have to get it for the greenhouse. And it's just a little decoration. I just loved it. I said to Nadine, I'm going to wear this as a medal. You know, you have like the people who have run the London Marathon wearing a medal. I'm going to wear my Chelsea medal. And this is going on my Christmas tree as well. I'm going to have a little Christmas tree here in the office, and that's going to take pride of place. But I just had the best time. But it was just so amazing to take it all in and to get the inspiration and to be like, this is, like, I'm amongst my people, my garden lovers, my fellow plant aficionados. I'm not a plant aficionado, but you know what I mean. I'm going to head off now, and I'm literally so excited. Like, today is like my Christmas day if the grass comes. I haven't seen it now, it hasn't arrived yet. We're getting rolled grass right at the back, and I'm so excited because it's now the end of May. And the last time we saw grass out the front or out the back garden was September. So I'm excited to look out those back doors and see grass. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. And if you've been to Chelsea, let me know, what was your favourite garden? Did you get anything? Did you get any souvenirs like me? Or if you're looking to go to Chelsea, let me know, because I might see you next year, because I could definitely see myself going for a couple of days. Do you know? Oh, just fab. Anyway, thanks a mil, and I'll see you in my next video. Okay.